Excuse me, miss. What's that you're listening to?
Well, it's a podcast. It's all about this couple from England who are in a lifestyle and they talk about their adventures.
So is that child-friendly then, is it?
No. They say lots of naughty things and they swear a lot. But would you like to listen?
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well cause it's bed hopping time.
Welcome to episode 47 of the Bedhoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H, gloriously back in the UK over there, not looking tanned, but exceptionally quiet, is
Mrs. H.
my wife.
Whoa.
She's still there.
But not tanned.
But not tanned.
No, because it wasn't hot.
We've been away, but we've not turned brown. We didn't slap any sun stuff on us, even though we were in foreign climes.
I didn't bring any with us.
No, I know you didn't.
No.
You were like, they'll all have lots of it there if we need it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are, again, back in the UK.
Even more awake.
Even more awake, yes. In our last episode, we told you about an adventure that we went to Vanilla Alternative. But in this episode, which we're recording on the same day, mind's blown, magic behind the scenes.
You've blown my mind already.
Yes, and you'll blow something in mine later.
Oh my God.
We're going to talk about our Singaporean and Australian adventures.
Yeah.
That's right. So, maybe we should start right at the beginning on this one.
The beginning of the whole beginning?
The very whole beginning.
Oh my God. And we've just finished watching How I Met Your Mother, so now my mind is kind of like the whole lot? The whole lot?
Yes, we're going to start right from the very beginning of this particular adventure.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. I thought you were going to go back right to the start of when you were born and talk about how you grew up with a little boy and then everything else happened.
How you met Mrs. H.
Yes, that's right. Mrs. H is still crying because of the ending.
I thought you were going to say I'm crying because I have no breakfast wine.
No, that you're whining because of that. You wish you had some wine.
I haven't had wine for, actually a few hours.
Yes, you had wine last night when we got back. So, putting this in context, we got back into the UK yesterday morning. We've been conscious that we've not had a chance to record for a while. So while we're on a bit of a roll and producing such high quality content, we thought we'd get a couple out before we forget everything that happened while we were away.
I'm sure we won't forget everything that happened.
I'm sure we won't forget everything that happened, but I'm sure we'll forget some of the nuances. And having tried to reach back and climb into our memories, try to remember what happened a month ago, we were fucking shit at that. So let's try and claw back some.
Let's capture the nuances now, then.
Yeah, let's recapture our dignity where possible. So we decided to go to Australia. And the reason for that was actually, when we went to Desire in November last year, we made some amazing friends.
We did.
And even a little bit before Desire, we made some amazing friends. Yeah. But it was really cool because we met Kate and Daryl from Swinging Down Under. Yep. We met them there. And they, of course, live in Singapore. Mm-hmm. And we met Naughty and Rocket.
Yes. And his beautiful eyes.
Who we've mentioned before. In fact, they stayed with us before Desire, didn't they?
Yeah, we went on a fantastic gin adventure together.
Exactly. But we met them in Desire as well.
We did.
And then we met Angela and Bradford from By the By, which was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I should also mention, by the by, there is a fly buzzing around in this room. I've not been able to stun it as yet, and Yoko is pretty much at this, and Mr. Kitty is sat in my business chair.
He's doing important business.
Yeah, right.
He's running for the next British Prime Minister.
Business cat. Right. So we met those lovely people while we were in Desire.
And realised they all live over the other side of the fucking world.
Yes, literally the other side of the world in Singapore and Australia. So we were very lucky in that we do get quite a few days off for holiday and leave and vacations, I guess, for some of you. And we decided to book some of that time to head out, stop at Singapore, and then do a bit of a tour around Australia.
And I'd always wanted to go to Australia as well.
Yeah, it's always been on our we'd love to go.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, if you're not used to the UK, we've been steadily beamed a diet of Australian TV programmes, the quality stuff like Neighbours and Home and Away, and Kath and Kim. Yes,
I love Kath and
throughout
Kim.
our earlier years, Kath and Kim less so. That's more of a modern thing.
Yes.
And we've always wanted to go out there. I've had family out there before, and not that I really talked to them, but they, it's been something that's been in the ethos for us. So the moons aligned, and we were able to get some time off, and also go out and see our chums.
Yeah.
And they gracefully or graciously, whichever one.
They were very graceful.
Whatever it was, they lent us their homes, their beds, and their time to pretty much give us an exclusive tour around all of the places where they live and come with us on some adventures.
And relentlessly take the piss out of me.
Yes.
I'm sure they gained more from those 2 weeks taking the piss out of me.
I think we've all gained a lot of knowledge about Mrs. H over the last few weeks. And I'm sure these will be some of the topics that we cover. So when we were sort of planning this adventure, we thought, well, actually, it'd be really great to stop in and see Kate and Darryl along the way because they are in Singapore. And
yes.
If you're going from the UK to Australia, you can fly direct, but only to Perth.
Yeah.
And that is around 17 hours.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah, because that's what we did on the way back. But on the way out, we decided to fly out to Singapore, spend a few days with Kate and Darryl, and catch up with them before we headed over to the main chunk of our holiday, which was in Australia.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is talk to you a bit, or talk at you, talk you through, whichever one, tell you.
Take you on a little adventure.
Take you on our adventure. And give you a few bits of the highlights of what we got up to, some of the funny things that were said, some of the funny things that we did, and there may be some sexy times involved at some points or other, and we'll, obviously, as ever, we'll not tell you about those, and just talk around them so you get a view of what may or may not have happened, and then you can fill in the blanks with your imagination. We will also be providing sexy noises throughout these periods so that...
Sexy noises?
Yeah.
And I'm getting much better at saying that word.
That word?
I said it quite a few times this trip.
Yes, you did. Okay, well, we can come on to that.
Oh my god. Is that like a variation of a jerk circle?
No, it's not a circle if there's two of us.
Well,
it's more of a jerk line.
Oh, right, a jerk line.
Like from point A to B.
Okay.
Or P to V.
P to V. Dear.
So we decided to hop on a plane. Bed hop on a plane.
There, yeah.
To Singapore, which is what, 13-hour flight, something like that. So we left on a Friday evening.
It doesn't matter, but yes, we did.
So it was an overnight flight, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was my point, and that it wasn't like it wasn't just a jump on a plane and get there 2 minutes. It was an
overnight flight.
An overnight flight. You're not the best flyer in terms of sleeping on a plane.
You make me sound like a pilot. No, I can't fly a plane for shit.
You can't drive a car for shit either.
They wouldn't even let me have a go at the plane.
You asked like 3 or 4 times.
No, you're not a great flyer, Mrs. H. Get away from the cockpit.
Mr. H, you are a legend. Please fly and land this plane for us.
When you say I'm not a good flyer, it means I won't leave you alone.
Yes.
I don't sleep, I don't rest, I don't switch off. I like to be entertained the full time.
Yes.
Unless you heavily sedate me.
Hate flying. I'm not comfortable flying. The fact that we're in a multi-ton
death sausage.
Death sausage. Multi-ton Death Sausage is my 5th studio album, available at all local Woolworths.
I'm still amazed they stay up in the air, you know.
I'm not even going to attempt to explain technology. Maybe that's something that Dee can explain to you at some point or other in the future.
All right, I'll ask him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to help
Please
you.
explain how metal death sausages stay in the air.
Giants throw them.
And once he's stopped laughing at me again, he can sit down and talk me through the science behind flying.
Yes, the science of flying.
Because I'm sure it's science.
Yes, totally, without doubt. So anyway, so we went to Singapore. Swingapore. I can't remember what we watched on the plane. I'm sure it was something good.
I don't think it really matters.
No, it was important to me. I know what we watched on the
really?
way back home.
All right,
but I think we've already talked about that.
Yeah, fine. I don't know what you watched either.
No, it's difficult. I'm just...
No.
Oh, I know what I watched. I watched Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh, okay. And then you told me not to watch it on the way home because you bought it.
Yes, I bought it on glorious 4K, which you can't get. So for some strange reason, Disney don't really, or Pixar don't really do 4K films.
It's just to annoy you. I wrote to them ages ago and asked them.
I know. to prevent them from doing it.
Yeah.
Please prevent Mr. H from being able to get
Enjoying 4K quality in the UK.
Yeah. Fuck you, wife. Fuck you. I'm just going to watch low definition stuff now from now onwards, where it's all blurry and hurt my poor, beautiful eyes.
Oh my God.
So we hopped off the plane and we were greeted by the delicious Kate and Daryl holding a sign that referenced an in-joke between us.
Yeah, I did.
What was that? What was that sign?
Can you quack like a duck? Which was pretty funny.
Which I think we've mentioned again on this show before. But Can You Quack Like a Duck is a reference to a YouTube clip that we discovered.
It's comedy gold. You should Google it.
Yeah, I think
YouTube it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before. I can't help but feel like we've commented on it.
Yeah, it's genius.
But if you haven't heard us talking about it before, look it up on YouTube. It's basically this weird rock group that has nothing to do with goats or whatever.
It is called Geo 80, yeah.
Yeah, it's just singing this song
in his backyard, wearing a cape and some socks.
Yeah, I think I've done an impression on the show. Can you quack like a duck?
That's the one.
Yep. Can you fart on my balls for good luck? That one. So they had a fold-out sign while they waited for us.
In fact, your Metal Death Sausage album should really have a voice like that singing on it.
Flying metal death sausage.
Yeah.
It's
a little bit. That's an amazing collaboration.
The internet's for porn. Flying death metal sausage.
But it's also Cookie Monster. Voice.
It is a little bit that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same kind of voice.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Anyway.
So they met us direct from the
airport.
Well, actually, something happened before that point that we probably need to talk about.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
It was?
So as we got off the plane,
Oh my God. Well,
Mrs. H
I
didn't believe anybody that told her that chewing gum is illegal in Swingapore.
I didn't know this.
So she gets off the plane, chewing gum.
Marches through immigration. Chewing my chewing gum.
And I'm like, we should probably get rid of this. Actually, not before. It was just before immigration. And you're like, what?
I don't want to get rid of my chewing gum.
But no, it's probably a good idea. You don't really realise what I'm talking about here at this point, do you?
No idea. I just thought, why? Why have I got to get rid of my chewing gum?
Why? So you not only bring with you a cargo of chewing gum in your purse.
In my flight bag.
Yeah, your purse being like your regular handbag purse, not a euphemism.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide a bunch of chewing gum at my clunge.
Oh my God.
No, that didn't happen.
Gross.
So anyway, we managed to get you to spit this chewing gum out in the bin. And it wasn't until later when we caught up with Kate and Daryl, and they said, yeah, chewing gum is illegal.
Well, we first found out in the taxi.
Yes.
When Kate asked the taxi driver to reaffirm to me that it was indeed illegal to chew chewing gum in Singapore. And I still didn't believe it. And I thought she just put the taxi driver up to this elaborate lie.
We hadn't met. We had to wait 20 minutes for a taxi.
No, but he might have been scared of her and he might have thought, oh, okay, I'll humour this stupid British person and just tell her it's illegal. So this carried on for the whole duration of Swingapore, really.
Yeah.
Until the final day, I think, when Kate asked a random shopkeeper in the park if we could buy some chewing gum, and he laughed really nervously
and looked around
him
as though the police were going to clamp down on him at any moment,
and went, "It's illegal." And I just looked at him aghast, like, okay, I believe you now. Finally, on my third day, I believe you.
Yeah. But it was interesting, actually, because at this part of the holiday, what we found is that Mrs. H wasn't gullible about anything at all and misbelieved everything.
Really?
Whereas in the second part of the holiday, you absolutely believed everything and anything. And this will come into play later on, as we trailed in our last episode.
Yeah, I really did.
Now, the other thing is that very day where you found out about the chewing gum.
Yeah, which is still a ridiculous law.
So we were in a taxi with Kate.
Yeah.
Right. Taxi pulls up at the stop sign, and a bunch of people walk past in front, many of which had coffee in a bag.
Oh, yeah.
And you looked at the bag.
Because it looked like a store sample to me.
Yeah, and you're like,
in a
what's
bag.
that? And Kate says, well, they have coffee served.
That's how they have their takeaway coffee.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah,
again.
but you didn't believe it. You're like,
no.
Really? And I think Kate's response was, what, you really think I've just paid someone to walk in front of the taxi with a bag like you've never met before? And I'm sure you thought, like, how much power does Kate have that she snaps her fingers and people will do this.
Well, once again, I just couldn't believe it was just such a ridiculous situation. People carrying a hot beverage around in a plastic bag. Like, why would they do that?
Why wouldn't they?
What's wrong with a cup with a lid?
A cup with a lid.
I think I talked to Daryl about this for about an hour that day.
The poor man looked like he wanted to kill himself after that.
But Daryl, but why? Why would they carry hot beverages around in plastic bags?
It
Why
makes
not a
no
cup?
sense. No sense at all.
It looked like a sample to me, frankly.
This coffee's really
It's
nutty.
not really appetising looking at all.
This coffee's shit, Basil. It is shit, Austin. So, yeah, I think, it was really interesting because you really didn't believe anything they told you. But, when it comes to Australia, everyone convinced you of a multitude of different things.
Maybe.
And so, I don't know, maybe it was like ongoing sort of mindset issues that were happening throughout the course of the holiday.
I
Anyway,
just had like a brain fart the whole holiday.
maybe the fart started the second you jumped on the flight to Australia.
Maybe. All
That's
right.
what it was. So we went to the house.
Yeah.
Lovely house.
Really lovely.
Really nice house. You had a bit of house envy.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. And they gave us tours of pretty much everywhere in Singapore.
Yeah, and what struck me was just how beautiful Singapore is.
I thought you were going to say how beautiful Kate was. I'm like, you've met her before. I mean, she's quite beautiful, yeah.
But how clean and beautiful Singapore is, generally.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with just how stunning it is to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, and you'll probably tell me off for being out of line with the timeline with all this, but I had an ice cream sandwich. Oh my God. I didn't think that was a thing.
So, one of the things that they showed us while they toured us around Swingapore was that you can buy ice cream in a sandwich, and the bread is really, really sweet, isn't it? It's like almost like a sweet cake-like bread.
And coloured, like green and red, and it's really odd.
And then they slap a bit of ice cream in it.
Yeah.
And away
And
you
you
go.
eat
Ice cream
a sandwich with a slab of ice cream in the
Yeah.
middle.
And they were right. You start to think, this is a fucking weird idea. Then you have a bite of it, and actually it's pretty fucking good.
I had a mango one.
A mango
it was
one.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
bless you. Now,
Yeah.
sadly, while we were there, we did encounter patient zero.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Poor Darryl wasn't very well, was he?
No, he got poorly.
Not our fault this time.
No, God, no. No, nothing to do with us.
Bless him. So he couldn't be there for half the time.
Yeah, he took himself away so as not to spread the germs around.
I know.
And spoil our whole holiday, bless him.
Bless him. So we didn't get to spend as much time with him as we'd have liked, although it was lovely seeing him nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then he also had to work, I think, a day as well.
Yeah, he did. I also managed to break their electricity.
Well, yeah. So what Mrs. H tried to do was plug in her hairdryer thing, and it blew their electric.
3 times.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. So you tried it once, and it blew it. Darryl diligently went outside and reset the trip switch. And then you plugged it in again, and it blew it again.
Well, he was like, no, it's fine, probably fine, try it again.
No, and then you did it again, and then there was a smell of burning in the house.
And my hairdryer blew up. Oh.
So we did learn that
Yeah.
lesson. So the other thing, actually, their guest bed was incredibly comfy.
Oh, it really was, wasn't it?
I had a very good night's sleep there.
I had one really good night's sleep. And then some kind of weird, crazy jet lag kicked in on the second night.
Well,
couldn't
I don't
sleep.
think it was the crazy jet lag.
What was it then?
I think it was the large amount of wine that we drank.
What?
Well, you see, gentle listener,
And this sets the tone for the whole holiday.
we spent much of this holiday drinking.
Yes.
And I don't think we've ever drunk as much
No.
as we drunk
I
over
can
the...
honestly say we have never consistently consumed so much
Consistent...
wine.
Why are you talking like Christopher Walken?
I don't know.
And the only thing...
More cowbell. Consistently drank so much wine on a daily basis.
And this really did start in Swingapore and carried on throughout the holiday. But
Yeah.
on I think the second night, we started opening up a couple of bottles of wine,
Yeah.
right? And we brought some champagne.
Well, what we should also add is that we presented them with some beautiful unbreakable wine glasses as a gift.
So this stems back to the fact that we know that Kate has had a few moments where she has
Likes to break glasses.
broken a few glasses. Well, that's all very well and good. So we thought we'd bring some metal glasses, if that's a thing, or
Flutes.
metal flutes, so that she can't break them.
Yes.
We thought, great. Now, what we didn't realise is that Mrs. H was going to break 3 of their glasses in one night.
Not the unbreakable ones.
No.
That would be stupid.
No, just the remaining glasses that they had.
Yeah, I had a go at the other
And then I think Kate broke another couple as
She
well.
did, yeah.
So there was like a death glass tally of I don't know, 6 glasses throughout the course of our stay
Yeah,
there.
we're probably in glass deficit with them now.
Now the problem is that their floor is all marble, so you can't fucking see the glass
No.
either. So the amount of time I spent lying
And
down...
they smash really well.
Yeah, they do smash really well off a little wooden step thing. And I spent a large chunk of my time lying down on the ground trying to level it out to see if I could see the glass that had smashed.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry for breaking your electricity and your glasses.
Yes, we are sorry about that.
Yeah.
So we ended up staying up for a few drinks with Kate, didn't we, as Darryl went to bed?
Well, that's one way of putting it.
Yes.
A few drinks, yeah.
So we discovered quite recently the video game Overcooked. And we thought we'd introduce Kate to this game, Overcooked 2. So she downloaded it onto her Switch. And then we played it, and played it, and played it some more. And then played it some more, and then played it some more. And what we discovered over the course of this time is that Mrs. H is fucking terrible at this game.
God, I'm outraged.
I have an amazing video of the 3 of us playing this game, with you just literally staring at the screen while we yell orders at you. Mrs. H, onions! Mrs. H, do this! What the fuck?
Why is everything on fire?
Yeah. And what got me is this was like, 2 or 3 hours into us playing this game over the course of the night. And you're like, where is this? Where is that? You just didn't understand what the fuck was going on.
It's too fast for me. I can't cope with it.
And your ability to take orders is clearly... Like, it was, if we told you directly what to do, then you'd be fine, but it was almost as easy to do it ourselves.
I know.
So I think at various points of the evening, both Kate and I were close to actually taking all those glasses that you'd smashed and making you eat the fucking things. Because it was...
Oh my God.
At one point, you fell off a bridge. I fell off a bridge in this game. And then Kate was like, what the fuck is going on? Everyone's falling there. And then 30 seconds later proceeded to fall down the bridge herself. And I have all this delightfully on video with us all just yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And then you just, like halfway through, start staring just into the air. Just like looking up at the ceiling, like looking at the nails, just... And no wonder we were getting our asses kicked in this game. It was fucking hilarious because you weren't doing fuck all.
I didn't know what to do. I just kept getting in the way.
Well, I know that.
I thought, you know what, I'll just do nothing till someone tells me to.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, by the way, we should mention, as we're going through, that we've got Jurassic Park 3 as a film that's in the background.
Yeah, we do.
It's much better than Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's okay.
It's pretty good.
It's a good film. I enjoy it.
They're having some kind of dino tussle at the moment.
But it was a Spino or Spinosaurus.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like the big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're tussling in the wreckage of an aeroplane.
I mean, it doesn't have Jeff Goldblum in it, which obviously is a mistake for any Jurassic
Horrific.
Park film.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
It does have Sam Neill.
Yeah, and that William H. Macy guy.
Yeah, so I think it's all right. It's okay.
It's all right.
I mean, it's better than the last film, the last Jurassic Park World one that came out, I think.
What, with, Muscles, Chris, what's his name?
Pratt?
Yeah, him.
You know what he's called.
Mhm.
Don't pretend that you don't know. Which also had Goldblum in it, didn't it, for like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that one very much. I thought the ideas of dinosaurs around a house were a bit shit. Spoilers and all that.
Dinosaurs round the house.
Yeah. No, have them around your house for a cup of
Amazing.
tea and whatnot. Anyway, so we played some Overcooked 2, and we kept playing some Overcooked 2, and we kept drinking and drinking, and then pretty soon, it was actually time for Darryl to get up for work.
It was like 6 a.m.
It was 6 a.m. in the morning. So we went to bed by about 6:30, and
Yeah.
had a few hours of sleep. So we're doing quite well at this point. And then one of the things that we discussed was going for a bit of a sort of family bike ride. Now, one of the things that Mrs. H does not do is cycle.
True story, I cannot ride a bike.
Yeah. So
Neither do I want to.
she gets 3 pedals in, falls to the side, and kills a child that was in the way.
And just falls off.
Yeah. So Kate had a bit of dilemma, but she'd actually managed to find a
rickshaw, I think.
They're not rickshaws.
Kind of like
they're like these
rickshaw.
family bikes where, you know, you get a couple of kids in and they just sit at the front beeping their fake horns, and the adults, 2 adults at the back, drive and pedal.
Yeah.
So Kate and I decided that we would pedal and you could sit in the middle.
Yeah.
'Cause you
I had
could-
a fake steering wheel.
You
though.
had a tiny,
Little
teeny
yellow.
children's fake steering wheel.
And no pedals, so I couldn't have pedalled even if I'd wanted
No,
to.
and I had a steering wheel, but it didn't steer. It wasn't connected. So Kate was completely in control of this vehicle at all times. And I think she may have released a bit of Mike on a Bike, which we recorded when we went and did that. Now, what you won't have known during Mike on a Bike is that we were still so fucking hungover, and it was, 32 degrees, and we were pedalling, 5-6K.
Oh, that's crazy.
And pedalling not only this little vehicle, but also Mrs. H, who was being carted around like she was in a Rolls or something.
I like to think I was some sort of glamorous drag factor.
Glamorous drag queen, maybe. All you needed was a fucking cocktail or a glass of Prosecco on your hand and you would have made up.
Well, I would have done ordinarily, but given that we'd actually stopped drinking at 6 a.m, I didn't think it was wise. Not in that extreme heat, anyway.
It wasn't... I tell you what, it was
I
really...
swear there was like Chardonnay coming out of your pores halfway around that park.
Well, it was fucking hard work. And when we got to the end, Kate and I looked at each other and we were a fucking mess.
You were both so disgusting.
Both pink and sweaty and horrible. And there's you, who's done not a fucking sausage of work.
Well, I was pretty hot in the middle of you both.
I bet you
But
were.
I didn't like to complain because I thought you might both lynch me.
You might have
Eject me halfway around the park.
You'd have had to do a rolling stop there, dear. You'd have been thrown from the thing. But it was quite fun cycling up or paddling up and down.
I had a great day.
It's a great day. It's a music and God knows what else.
I got to see loads of Singapore, this beautiful park, a beautiful sunny day, and you guys were just peddling me around with raging hangovers.
Exactly.
I really appreciated it.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Thank you.
And then we went and had lunch, and a cockroach crawled on your foot.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. So we had that, but we also went up on top of that tower thing.
Oh my goodness. C'est la vie?
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Now, this is the great big Singapore building with
like
a boat on top of a building kind of thing. Now, what was quite fun about that? So we went up there. We didn't book anything. We just went up to the top. And
this
Darren
was one of the highlights.
Very kindly got us at the top there. And as we were wandering around, there were a number of bars that were up there. Yeah. And a number of viewing platform type areas. Yeah. And seats are an absolute commodity. They're like cigarettes in prison up there. And while we were up there, it started pissing it down with rain.
Which was really cool.
Yeah, which is cool. And
I had my Singapore sling.
You had a Singapore sling,
Yay.
Yes, you did. So everyone left their seats, all the sofas, the reserved sofas. So while that happened, and as soon as it stopped raining, we stood around by the seats, and they were quite damp. So Daryl swapped the seats around and turned the cushions over, so we were on the dry part of it.
Yeah, genius.
Very genius. And then we had
the best seats
in the house. Stunning view. Over Singapore and an incredible sort of view of the bar, view of everything, and it's absolutely perfect. And we've got these illicit seats
next to this infinity pool. Is that what it was called?
Yeah. So we could see that.
Amazing.
It was great views, everything. And what we found is that every time one of us stood up, people would come over in an attempt to sit on the seats,
thinking we were leaving.
So this descended into a fun game where every now and then 2 or 3 of us would stand up,
pretend to
leave, and then sit back down again.
Stretch.
Just stretch.
And sit down again. Do a few lunges and then sit down again and relax.
So this was hilarious for us.
But this one guy was relentless in his pursuit of the coveted seats.
Yes.
Do you remember? He was very belligerent.
He was very up in our grill about it. He stood very close to me, waiting for me to get up.
He was constantly hovering over our table like a tramp on chips and just waiting to jump in there the second we moved. And he must have known that we were getting ready to leave because he got edging closer and closer and closer.
He was edging?
He was edging. I would not like to be edged by him. He was not pleasant. But he carried on edging closer and closer, and it was obvious we weren't going to buy any more drinks at this stage. So we, a few of us stood up again, and once again he was like, bang, right up in your grill. And I then wandered over to a very nearby standing up table where there was no seats at all. And I approached these 2 really lovely looking ladies.
I want to say they were Scottish.
Well, I don't know if they were Scottish, but they were very pleasant.
Yeah.
But the point was, they hadn't been coveting our table. They'd just been standing up for quite a while, just chatting together. So I sidled over to them and I said, we're leaving this table now.
Did you say it like that?
I did.
Like
I
Obi-Wan
really
Kenobi?
did. I was really, really cloak and dagger about it. And knowing full well that the belligerent man was waiting to jump into our seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to these lovely ladies and I said, we're leaving now, but would you like our settee? Because it's a really great seat. And I said, you could just come straight over and just grab our seats before somebody else does. And the looks on their faces, oh my goodness, it was just the nicest thing.
It was like they won a golden ticket.
They looked at me
to
and
Willy
went,
Wonka's
are you
Chocolate
sure?
Factory.
That's so sweet of you. That's so nice. What a lovely gesture. I said, you are so welcome. Come with me right now.
Nobody's
Let's
ever
grab
been
the
this
seats."
clever.
And I took them over with me to the settees where we were sitting and I literally plonked them down, one on each side. They sat there with their drinks and the belligerent, aggressive man who wanted your table, the look on his face. Oh my God. I will treasure that forever.
Well, you came away from that day
Mr.
literally
Schadenfreude.
clapping your hands about the fact that the guy hadn't managed to get the table
Yes.
and that you made some...
But he was such a cocksmoker about it. If he'd been nicer, he could have had it.
He could have had it.
But he was a twat, so...
Think of what you could have won, my friend.
Think of what you could have had.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
was all I could do not to like jump him and down, like laughing in his face. But the fact that I'd given it to these very worthwhile ladies who hadn't been hankering after our seat made me so happy.
Bless you.
It
Oh.
was a great thing.
Yeah. So then, pretty much our time was up in Singapore. It went very, very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it really was by. It was a jam-packed few days, to be fair. We
I've
saw
got to
quite
mention
a
the
lot.
dumplings.
Oh
Gotta
my
mention
God.
it. So
Those
Kane Darrell took us to an
dumplings.
amazing dumpling house that was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And they had dumplings that had soup in them.
Nuclear hot, if you weren't careful, it would just explode in your mouth with dire consequences.
But they were fucking delightful.
Literally amazing.
Banging.
Yeah.
Banging.
Banging
And
dumplings.
Just the right amount was ordered as well. Like a million.
If anything, I could have eaten more.
Well, I know that. That's why we're heading off to the gym in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway, so we had an absolutely marvellous time in Swingapore. We were lucky enough to be able to jump in a cab with Daryl because he was flying out that day.
Yeah.
So we had our own personal escort off the
Mooch around
premises.
the airport with him for a little bit before we caught our plane to
Yeah,
Sydney.
that was really nice. Before we sat in our lounge for about half an hour and then jumped on our flight to Sydney.
Mm.
So it was really, really sweet of them to put us up and have us over, and they went absolutely out of their way to make sure we had a really nice time. Even down to like little touches, like they give us little flight case things with little bits in them, and
Yeah,
we had
so
little
sweet.
treats and presents and
I
stuff.
feel really bad now, but I broke their glasses and their electricity.
And drank all of their wine pretty much.
No, you did that yourselves.
that was a combination effort,
I
was
helped.
it?
I like to think I put a valiant effort in.
You did your bit for that.
I did. my
I'm
bit.
doing my part. Are you?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, we tried. I want to remember what it's called. Raclette. Is that what it's called?
Right.
The food we tried on the first night.
What was? Oh yeah.
Raclette.
I can't remember. It was like spicy pork meat thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Mm. And what was really nice actually is that we knew that we'd be able to see them again, or at least see Kate at a meet and mingle thing,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll come on to soon. And we also knew that we might be able to catch up with them and their
Yeah.
friends further on the holiday.
In Sydney.
So it was really cool. So anyway, we said goodbye to them and said goodbye to Daryl at the airport.
Temporary goodbye.
A temporary goodbye.
Yeah.
And then jumped on a plane to Sydney.
Yes, we did.
Right. Play some music. Let's have a break. So, we jumped on a plane to Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
5 hours or so?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was pretty quick, wasn't it?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
7.
7?
Anyway.
Oh, okay. And who was meeting us at Sydney Airport?
Well, it was Bradford and Angela. By the by.
Oh, there we go. I'm glad you explained that. bit. Just in case anyone is confused by
Okay.
now as to who it was Angela and Bradford. Or Bradula.
Yeah.
Or Bradulina.
Yeah.
From
By
By
the
the
by.
Yeah. So they picked us up directly from the airport. No sign this time. I mean, not that it was a competition, guys. But,
No, that's cool.
the last lot had a sign.
Well, we got a sign when we got to their apartment.
Yeah, that's true. We did have a sign when we got to their
And
apartment.
what did that say?
It said, "Welcome to Straya, cunts."
Yeah. Well, that set the tone.
Which leads me into a slightly amusing story about how we replied to that sign that they weren't that impressed with. So the next day, after finding that sign placed lovingly on our bed, which was basically a scrawled on piece of A4, I decided that this was how we were going to communicate throughout the course of the week. And I wrote a sign back saying, "Thanks, cunts."
Okay.
And I went to place it on their bed, but it wasn't made.
And I have a real thing about unmade beds.
So in order to direct the attention, because you couldn't see it, I placed this bit of paper on there and it was a bit of a scrawl on the bed.
Not a hope of seeing it.
So I made their bed and put the sign on it. Apparently, that was a step too far.
Yeah, and it came back to bite me later on in the holiday.
Yeah.
My obsession with making beds.
Well, so I said, is this how we're communicating now? And then they wrote back with another one.
Yes, but
saying
Ben,
yes.
what we also did that morning was proceed to take a series of naked pictures around their apartment.
Yeah, that's true. And then send to them.
And send it to them.
While they were working.
Yeah, so sat at Bradford's piano, naked.
Yep, in the fridge,
In the
playing the
fridge.
ukulele, I think, looking pensively out the window. And day one with them, it was really nice. We got to catch up and we had nachos and had a good old natter and a couple of bottles of wine
Yeah.
because we needed some more wine.
Yeah.
And that was fab. It was lovely seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
It always is. Because we'd seen Bradford not long before because
Yeah.
they'd come and stay with us. But also we had the full package. We had Angela as well.
Yay!
Yay! Which was awesome. But the next day
Alright.
they had to work.
They did.
So
we took ourselves off to Taronga Zoo.
yeah, so we went to Sydney or Taronga or whatever it's
Yeah,
called zoo, which
zoo.
isn't that far from where they live. But it was quite fun because they left us in the flat by themselves and gave us their keys. And we promptly went round and took naked pictures of ourselves on all of their stuff.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, they're going to be finding ass cheek prints for weeks.
Lovely.
I know, such quality house guests. Although I think they probably will murder us in our sleep for making their beds.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was probably a step too far.
Maybe a little bit, but got the point across. I think we did well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the zoo, which was really good fun. If you've never been there and you go to Sydney, please take the time to go and see it. It was really nice and really
Yeah, it's an awesome
lovely.
day.
And it was a really nice, relaxing, chilled out day where we just got to be with
the two of
ourselves,
us,
just
yeah.
the two of us, looking at animals and weird creatures and all sorts of weird
It
things.
was a super nice day.
What I really loved about the zoo in particular was there was a giant plastic crocodile that Mrs. H saw and shit herself over because it's by the reptile section. It's a long brown plastic thing.
Huge.
Well, it's life size. And you
Wow.
took one look at it and shit yourself.
I literally thought it was a real one.
Yeah, you did,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I did.
But, it was cool. We saw some koala bears. We saw
Yeah.
these whizzy round mice things.
Yeah, I had no idea what they were called, but they were great.
They were cool. They ran around their own little racetrack. We're not going to talk to you about every single animal we saw.
No, because that would be like 8 episodes.
We saw a bird show,
Yeah.
a seal show.
All right. So we had a day at the zoo.
Yeah, we had a day at
That's
the
pretty
zoo. What? I was going to go into the intricate
No.
facts of what I found at the zoo.
No.
We saw some spiders. We saw some
All right.
Anyway, that was our second day. In the evening, they took us to their favourite place, which I think is now
amazing.
closed down. It closed down
Yeah.
while we were there.
Yeah. So were we going to say what it's called?
I thought you were going to.
Oh, okay. The Owl House.
Is it the Owl House? I thought they were calling it the Outhouse for like the first week.
No, owl.
Oh, okay.
As
fine.
in, woo. Now, you know I'm exceptionally good at animal impressions.
Yes, I am.
You can add that to the chicken one.
I really wish it was called the Factory.
I seem to recall later in the holiday I was asked to do an impression of a different animal,
Yes, you were.
and there was much merriment
There was much merriment.
at
What was
how
that
shit
animal?
it was. Oh my god, was it a goat?
It was a sheep, I think.
It was a goat or a sheep or something.
What do they sound like?
I'm not going to go into that now. However, you can have my owl one.
Oh, good, thank you. Woo, did that impression. So we went there and we met the delightful Lolo Lady.
Oh,
Off Twitter.
she's lovely.
She is a dear.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a crush on her.
She said I was her blonde spirit animal. Yeah, she was a sweetie.
She was a sweetheart. And we had a really nice night there.
Yeah, it was great.
Great food, great
Awesome
wine.
food, awesome wine.
Barman was really funny.
A fellow Welshman.
He was a fellow. Well, not for me. I'm not Welsh.
Yeah, for me he was a
Don't
fellow
drag me
Welshman.
down with that stick.
Oh my god.
But it does turn out that he's a huge comic book fan, and we were able to wax lyrical about Guardians of the Galaxy, so I was very happy there.
Yeah, you were.
And once again, we ended up drinking more than we should have done.
Oh, bit of a running theme, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was good fun.
Yeah, it was an awesome night.
It was a really nice, chilled out way of introducing us to Sydney.
And eating too much.
And eating too much. And drinking too much. Which is, again, a recurring theme there. But that was really cool. And we got to find out about Lolo Lady because we knew she was coming with us to a trip later in the week.
To Hunter Valley.
To Hunter Valley, which is cool. So we got to meet her for the first time. And she's on Twitter, so I'm sure you'll find her on Twitter if you've not been on there before. Some nice little pictures that she puts up and stuff, so that's cool. So, next day, what happened then?
I believe we went to see a play.
We did. We went to see a play. What was it called?
Boy from the Country.
Something like that, right?
I think.
Yeah, it was cool. So it was like a play preview.
It was...
a play view?
A play view. Yeah, it was a dress rehearsal officially.
Yeah.
But it was before the opening night.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a little tear in my eye at the
A
end.
little tear in your eye.
Yeah.
No, sorry, that was me. I was just,
Oh, don't be disgusting.
Well, I tell you what, people were quite rude at that play, though.
Yeah.
It was like one woman on a mobile
bloody
phone,
phones
another
all
one
the
got
way
out for a
through.
wee. It was just, fucking hell, control line
Yeah.
selves, people.
Anyway, we saw his play, which I thought was really awesome.
But the other good thing about that night was that we got...
Was my butt?
Well, at this point, it hadn't been expanded by the countless food and drink that it was only in a mild amount of...
Oh, okay. It
the-
made an appearance at like many occasions.
Your butt made many appearances. Most often while you were too drunk to be able to stand up. And
or rooting around on the floor for something.
yeah, exactly. So the amount of pictures that we all have of Mrs. H rooting around with her arse in the air is too numerous to count.
I've just remembered one of the funniest stories of the trip, but I don't know if it's going to interrupt your timeline, so I shall withhold it.
Please withhold your butt for now, and we shall come back to your butt.
It was a butt-related story, though, if
It's
you
a
recall.
butt-related story.
If
Yes,
you
I
recall.
think it is.
Yeah.
I think we have a number of those. We'll come back to them pretty soon. So the other thing that you've forgotten to mention about that evening was who we got to meet.
I hadn't forgotten.
What?
I thought you might like to have the honour of mentioning who we met.
Well, we met 3 new people.
Yes, we did.
We did. Oh, you're literally you're just withholding information now? Is that the way we're going to do it?
We met, or I met a fellow Pokemon friend.
You met lots of poker friends.
But this particular one, he was such a sweetie.
He was a sweetheart, wasn't he? Really?
I really love this guy. Simon from the A Slut podcast.
Yay! He was cool.
Really lovely guy.
He was cool.
Met him for the first time prior to the meet and greet that we had out in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Bondi Beach for the play.
Yep.
And had dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
With the lovely Bradford Angela, of course.
Yes.
And I had the pleasure of having dinner with this lovely guy. With you all. He was such a nice chap.
It's a fun chat.
Yeah.
Really nice.
But more about him later.
Yeah, he'll show
But
up.
we met him that night.
We met him that night. And who else do we meet?
The gentleman.
The gentleman and his, other half?
His
girlfriend?
erstwhile beautiful other half,
We'll
yes.
call her Angel.
You're going to call her Angel. I was going to call her Icarus.
Really? All right, we'll call her Icarus then.
I will.
Really? Did I fly too close to the sun this time?
You always do.
And so he was coming along with his girlfriend or partner.
Yeah.
Or other partner. I'm not quite sure the way this works, but anyway, that sounds about right for me. And so we met then.
I mean,
Both
there's
the-
more wine, because that
and-
obviously is, what we needed.
Well, there was always more wine, but they were sweeties as well.
Yeah, really lovely.
I think what's really struck me is that on this adventure set of ours is how universally awesome everybody was.
Yeah.
So if we do wax lyrical about this, please forgive us. But actually, the people that we met were all
Made our holiday amazing.
really fantastic.
Yes, they
with
did.
one minor exception, which we'll come on to.
Was it me?
No, it wasn't you,
Oh.
you idiot. Fuck's sake. No, you're a terrible human being. I don't want to spend any more time with you.
Oh my god. Not even after my amazing owl impression.
Who did that? Yeah, that's definitely right. That's definitely what happened. So we met the gentleman and Icarus, and we met Simon from the A Slut podcast.
Yes.
And then we went and saw a play together, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoyed that very much. I don't think it's running anymore. Maybe I don't know how
I
it
don't
is.
know.
I don't know how these things work, but it was very good, and we enjoyed it, and we
Yeah.
liked it a lot. And then they all had to go back home,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go back home.
Yeah.
Well, not home. We had to go back to Bradford and Angela's house, where Base Camp 1 or Base Camp 2 was established.
Yep.
Now, the following day, we knew that we had two things going on.
Mm-hmm.
We had a meet and mingle.
Yes, we did.
To attend to. So we were a little bit nervous about that, I think.
A little bit apprehensive, maybe, yes.
Well, because it was a meet and mingle with us.
Yeah.
Simon.
Yeah.
Bradford and Angela.
Kate.
And also our friends Naughty and Rocket were going to be there.
Yay!
And Lolo Lady was also going to be there.
Yep.
So it was a great opportunity to catch up with loads of people. Did she go in the end? I can't remember if Lolo Lady went to the...
I think we might broke her.
Yeah, we may have broken her with the Owl House drinking.
Yeah, I think so too.
But she was due to go and then swiftly changed her mind.
Yeah, I think so.
Thus, squashing my dreams.
Aww.
Breaking them. Casting them aside. No pressure.
Wow, I had no idea your dreams were like so vast.
Or so easily dashed. So we had that in the evening, and then we knew that we were going to a pendulum party at OSS, which is our secret spot.
Yes.
So we were all sort of... What did we do? We wandered into town with Bradford, I think.
Yeah, we had a nice day stomping round. We went to a little sex shop.
Some comic book shops, I think.
Comic book shops. We just motored around the city, really, didn't we?
Yeah, we bought some naughty comic books. Yeah.
I bought an erotic koala bear and platypus.
True story. So so you've got a platypus that has bondage gear on.
Yes.
Has like a gimp outfit.
Koala bear as well that is a submissive.
A submissive koala.
Yeah.
Kneel before Zod.
Makes as much sense as anything else.
Exactly that. So we did that during the day, and then we scurried back to Bradford and Angela's place and ran around like Looney Tunes trying to get ready in time.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that our friends hadn't learned at this point was how long it takes my wife to get ready for anything. Like literally, if she says she's ready now, you might as well add 25 minutes. If she says she needs to go out, that's a 2.5 hour expedition. If she's going out and the sexy time's involved, you need to add another 45 minutes for de-hairing, decluttering, and
decluttering
and mental
what the hell
preparation.
Does that mean?
I don't know.
It made me sound like clearing out some gutters or something.
Well, everyone cleaned out your gutters, dear.
Oh,
What a terrible situation to be in.
You are disgusting.
I know, but I'm worth it. Don't worry. So we went to this really, really cool pub for the meet and mingle.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It's like a cocktail bar, and we had a bit of space reserved.
Yeah. And
we got to meet some other people too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how many people we met now. Quite a few.
So
Yeah.
Kate brought along her good friends.
Yes, she did.
We'll have to think of some names of them.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it on the spot.
No.
Because they come up later in the story.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll think of some awesome names by then.
Kate's friends.
Kate's friends.
Kate's friends. Sounds like a diner.
Kate's friends.
Or no, it sounds like one of those hospital shops. You know, like where you can buy goods.
Oh, okay.
You know, goods that help support the hospital.
Like League of Friends.
League of Friends. That's it. Kate's friends. So we met them, and they were lovely. They were cool.
A lovely Naughty and Rocket.
Yeah, they rocked up.
Looking fantastic.
As ever.
Yeah.
As ever. And obviously all the other people that we mentioned, and a few others popped up as well. It was really cool. It was a really nice night. I think we probably went a little heavy on the cocktails.
Oh, well, we always do.
Well, this is the thing. That cocktail place was cool in that you could sort of suggest a feeling that you wanted or some drinks.
What?
So like
shit-faced?
No, like I am feeling melancholy with a hint of red, and they would make you a cocktail that suited that moment.
Oh, okay.
It was normally the same cocktail, but it was really good.
On a theme.
Yeah, I mean, I had an old fashioned, but made with rum and some butter, something. I don't know. It wasn't like a slab of butter in there, but it was an amazing cocktail nonetheless.
And we also had dinner with lovely Simon from A Slut podcast.
We did. Well, we got to the point where we were out having some drinks, and then Mrs. H got hangry again.
Oh my God.
And you were going to flip a fucking table in the middle of a meeting.
Well, I was actually being very proactive, and I knew we had a night ahead of us.
Oh, a night ahead of us.
A night ahead of us of going to a club and the prospect of more drinks and some merriment, perhaps. So what I didn't want to do is get to the point where I drank so much and on an empty stomach, and then it all go horribly wrong.
So we accosted Simon.
We accosted him.
You made me choke him out until he was blank and then drag him downstairs.
He loved it. We dragged him downstairs to a dumpling bar.
Yeah, which was great.
Which
Until he
was so
spilled
nice.
soy sauce all over his tools that he'd brought along.
He did that himself.
You did that
He
yourself.
spilled soy sauce all over himself
It-
and his kinky fuckery.
No, you
he
did
did.
that. I saw it.
Anyway, we can debate this later. There was a spillage of soy sauce.
It's a mini debate, not a mass debate. Dear. So there was some spillage of soy sauce while we were chowing down on dumplings and yet more wine.
Yeah, because that's what we needed.
Yes. Then after that, everyone had sort of gone on to the club at this point.
Yeah.
So we had to find a club that we'd never been to.
Yeah, on the way we had to stagger around and find some booze to take with us.
Well, what we discovered about Australia, it's not like the UK where you can go to any old fucking newsagent and pretty much buy a bottle of
wine
or a
yeah.
Tesco Express or a garage or even walk into someone's house randomly and take some booze. No, it turns out that none of the amazing shops that are around the place sell any booze, and that you actually have to go into a bar to buy a bottle to take away.
Yeah, how strange.
Which confused the fuck out of me. Thankfully, we ran into Naughty and Rocket at the time.
Yeah.
And they saved us with a quick, swift stop at a place.
So we plied ourselves with some more booze.
It was quite funny, actually, while we were there and ordering this booze. Do you remember the barmaid that served us?
Yes,
some guy was ahead of us, and he was chatting her up for like 5 minutes, and he was really going the full, man, you're so beautiful and lovely, and obviously doing it in whatever accent he was from. And then she dashed his hopes by telling him that she was a lesbian. It was hilarious.
At which point, we were like, all right then.
Well, you were suddenly more interested. But it was quite funny. This poor guy who'd wasted this whole 5-minute spiel of how amazing and everything she was, and then only to find that this is what was going on. So that happened. We got some bottles of bubbly. I think,
bubbles.
and then went over to the club.
Yep.
So, and it's here where we need to divide our story a little bit.
We're going to
Divide our story a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's a choose your own adventure. If you push 1, we'll tell you about the club. If you push 2, we'll tell you about our sexy adventures. So, using new technology, if you call up your phone and push in button 1, nothing will happen other than pushing button 1.
Well, I was going to opt for 2.
What, the sexy adventures? And what, review the club on our next episode?
Well, I was going to maybe mention some of the sexy stuff we did there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Well, I'm choosing my own adventure.
Choosing your own adventure. You're pushing 2.
Yeah.
You're doing a massive number 2 there.
Oh, no.
Retreat. Well, we can give a very quick overview of the club.
All right.
So, you sort of go in through...
I hope you can remember it.
Well, you can go in through a back door, right? And then on the right, there were some changing rooms and some lockers.
God, you have got such a good memory.
So as you go through, there was a place where you could go up the stairs to the right, and there was like a bedroom sort of and a bathroom there. There was also a toilet next to the stairs. And that bedroom was sort of like a big open play area, group area. As you go further forwards, going back down the stairs and into the main passageway, so it's quite a thinly led passageway.
I remember the thin passageway.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, there was your bar where you can stow your drinks.
I remember that little hatchway, yes.
Mm-hmm. Then you go through, and then there was a little sort of seating area
remember
that had a pole.
Yeah, I remember the pole.
Yep. There were some stairs that went upstairs, and then straight ahead there was also a little sort of other seating area slightly around the corner. Yeah?
God, you are good.
So as you go up the stairs and you bear right, then you go, there's left, there was another little sort of play area, which I think was a group play area.
Right, yep.
Oh, I've forgotten, actually. Going back down the passageway, past the bar, but not before the seating area. There was a little bondage area where you could go in, and it had like a cage in front of it, and you could turn right under there. I think this is about right. This is based on one night there. So remember, you could go in right, and then you could have the curtains open or closed as you went in there, or you could shut the bars so that you could do your own BDSM stuff, or you could show it to everybody else if you wanted to. Okay. So going back up the stairs, on the left-hand side there was a group play area. On the right-hand side, I think there was a playroom with a little bathroom in, which we know fairly well now.
I remember that playroom.
And then carrying on straight past that one, I think there was another playroom down the end of it.
I don't think I got that far.
You did see it.
But I don't remember it very well.
No, because you drank yourself into a...
I did not drink myself into a...
holiday, which...
You're going to say stupor.
No, I was going to say holiday, because that's pretty much what you did. So broadly, that's the club in a nutshell. I think I've probably got it really wrong. and I'm sure the OSS guys, and I'm sure
It's fine because it's Australia, so everything's different way around there.
it's all upside down now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
like the water goes down the plug hole the other way as well.
Did you try that?
No.
Did you not try that?
Don't try and hoodwink me again into believing some bullshit.
Did you not flush it and see the water
Stop.
go in the other way? This is true. It's
Stop.
genuinely
You're
true.
looking at me now, I'm like, what do I believe? I didn't know whether to believe you or not.
It's genuinely true. Why don't we phone up Bradford now? It's probably like, I don't know,
4
like
a.m.
10 o'clock or something at night. And say,
No.
Bradford, when you flush the toilet, which way round does the water go? And he'll
Oh
probably
my
go straight
God.
down the plug.
I need him to take a video of it for me to prove it.
Yes, but when he sends it, it's reversed.
Shush. No, I'm not falling for it. I'm not. You're not doing this to me again.
Oh, good. Fine. Well, I'm glad that you managed to point that out. So, okay. So, the actual club itself was really nicely decorated. It had a nice, friendly vibe. It was the Pendulum Night, which is all about exploring your bisexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not something I'm particularly down for, as we're well aware of. But as a night, it was the people that came in that seemed universally lovely. They all seemed very friendly and very happy to chat. Seemed quite busy.
I was really funny with loads of people.
Oh, I know you were. It was a lot smaller than I anticipated, I think. But then I think because
Yeah,
it was
but we had
thin and
nothing to
long-
compare it to, really, in
Well,
Australia.
Well, that's true. But we had things to compare it to in the UK.
Yeah, that's very true.
So it was probably on the smaller side to where we've been, where they've been bigger clubs like Extasia and Vanilla Alternative,
Yeah.
but bigger than, I don't know, say a Purple
Mamba.
Mamba. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is probably the weirdest sentence that I've ever uttered.
This is slightly bigger than a purple mamba.
Slightly bigger than a Purple Mamba. So we sat down and ended up sort of sitting down, having a drink or two, and chatting to our lovely, lovely friends, Naughty and Rocky.
Yeah, I just had an awesome time chatting to them. It's great.
Well, I think you were just staring into his eyes again.
He has got beautiful eyes.
He does. He does. It's just a shame that he spent much of his time calling me a prick throughout the course of the holiday.
No. He called you a wanker.
He called me a prick a lot.
And several times he said to me, "How do you put up with your husband being such a wanker to you?"
Yes, but then there's also there is a divide in our travels in that I think there are a number of people who were amazed at my patience.
What?
I know. And
what, a number of people who flocked to my aid
yes,
every time you were a wanker.
yes, mostly Naughty.
Oh, he rescued me so many times
Well,
from your taunts.
no, I think you just Naughty, help me. and his answer was typically, "I would help you, but I am the next on the food chain. Therefore, I am not going to help you."
Damn you.
Which was a perfect and sensible response.
Fine.
Well, maybe.
Anyway, we talked to them for a while because it was cool.
And then we decided that we probably needed to catch up with them.
Properly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember that playing, but fine.
No, I made that noise all the way
Oh,
through.
did you all the
yeah,
way
yeah,
through?
she really enjoyed it.
Did she really?
Yeah, she
Are you
really
sure
did.
about that?
So we went upstairs to the room that was as you went up the thing, and then you turn right. So you could lock this room, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it had a little toilet in there as well.
Which is so weird.
It's weird. but
Separated by some
very,
glass.
very useful that I could go for a wee at any time that I wanted.
Sit there. Pass me a comic, please.
Yeah, I've run out of tissues. Can you please pass us a facial wipe? So we caught up with them and had some really nice sexy times, actually.
Caught up with them.
Oh yeah. So and what do we do with them?
What do you mean, what did we do with them?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what did we do with them? You make it sound like we did something really sordid that we shouldn't have done.
If the more quiet I'm staying, the funnier this is getting for me. You're looking really panicked.
I am looking panicked.
No, we just had some sexy times with them. It was
Oh,
very fun.
God. It's like, what the hell did I forget? Oh, my God. Yeah, we had some awesome, sexy times with them.
Good. Greatly
Yeah.
summarised.
Thank you.
Actually, in between that, there was a little minor incident, wasn't there? With that annoying girl.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant sexually.
Sexually.
What happened?
No, there wasn't anything terrible in that. Well, she was just quite rude, wasn't she?
There was a rude girl who approached you.
Yeah.
Yeah, made a few weird comments to you. It's just, she was just generally odd.
Mm.
We didn't get on with her so well.
No, but other than that, it was a universally lovely crowd.
Yes,
actually,
it was awesome.
which is really nice. So we were sort of. It was now 2:15 or something like that in the morning, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, it was.
The club
really
is
late.
starting to wind down.
It checks
a
out
little
at
bit.
3, doesn't it?
I think
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the official time is,
Yeah,
but
it's 3.
it certainly seemed to be aiming that way. And we're stood in the passageway, and we said goodbye to Naughty and Rocket because they were leaving just after that.
Absolutely.
And then we got approached.
Approached, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Accosted? Pounced upon?
Pounced upon. Okay, cool.
What words would you use?
Greeted.
Greeted. Okay. So the aforementioned Icarus approached us
Yeah.
and conveyed to us in no uncertain terms.
How much you'd like to greet us?
Yes. So we went upstairs with her and the gentleman.
Greeted her.
And then greeted them.
Enthusiastically.
Yes. Enthusiastic greeting achieved.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, I think that was
Another
fun.
way of putting it would be we went upstairs and had a really sexy night.
We did. Well, we had a very...
We said hello so many times.
Well, it was quite funny because I think we all knew that the club was closing pretty quickly.
We had a bit of a timeline.
So it was escalated agendas, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. Now, I have to confess that I did take a feather off of her.
Yes, I believe her costume maybe minus a feather.
Yes.
Icarus.
She donated that feather to me.
I think you plucked it
She asked me to pluck her.
during a moment of passion.
No, she asked me to pluck her as much as
Is
I
that
could.
right, you pleasant fucker?
So I pleasantly plucked her.
Yeah.
I perfectly pleasantly plucked her.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I
So
now
after you pleasantly fucked her, yeah.
so I now somewhere in my suitcase or some item there was a feather going
Just
around.
a lone feather.
A lone feather, which I was amazed got past customs.
Parted
actually,
from its brethren.
exactly. So overall, that was the
Yeah.
night. Then we had to leave because they were closing the club down.
Well, what you've forgotten is on the way out,
Yes.
when we were waiting for our Uber back,
Mm-hmm.
I was so hungry by this point
Mhm.
again. And I was saved by one of the lovely ladies who works at the club,
Ah, yes.
who saw the look of, I don't know, hunger on my face maybe, and handed me a single arancini ball. I don't know where she got it from. But...
So what got me actually, right, is this woman gives you an arancini ball.
Oh, God, it was just
So
the nicest gesture.
So we leave the club and get into an Uber, right? And the only thing that Mrs. H can bang on about, not about the amazing people we met during the meet and greet, not about seeing some friends and making some new ones, not about the sexy times, not about the club, is the fact that she got a fucking arancini ball off someone that worked there.
Someone gave me an arancini ball.
Not a euphemism.
That I was just so grateful.
Arancini baller. So yeah, so that happened, and then we went back to Reverend Angela's place and pretty much
Good.
slept for...
Well, we did, but at this point is, I believe, the funny bottom story.
Is this the funny bottom story?
I believe it is.
Is this where you believed that you had a bottom rash?
Well, okay, so this is the point at which we had spent all day walking around a very hot city in what can only be described as very tight jeans.
Oh, okay.
And it may be the bottom of my back, the top of my buttocks, if you will, had a glowing pink, not rash, but glow about there.
A glowing pink glow.
Yes.
So I walk into our bedroom, Reverend Angela's spare bedroom, to find Mrs. H absolutely bare naked, with her legs spread wide apart, bent over, trying to look into a large double mirror, with her ass cheeks spread, trying to see whether she's got a rash in a half-lit room. So I called Bradford in, and Angela, and I've never seen either one of them run so fast in my life
to get to the room.
to get to the room. And I think we all have, universally, a picture of Mrs. H spreading her ass cheeks, trying to look at
my
her
God.
glowing butt.
That was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. So I think that's probably all we're going to cover for now, because we've probably gone on for a good hour or so about our adventures in Singapore and Australia today.
Yeah.
Well, not today, but last week.
I mean, fear not. We're not gonna do this for every single day because that will get really tedious.
It would get really tedious.
But
So
we are covering the highlights.
yeah, so I think this is probably going to end up being a 2-parter show.
I think so.
And hopefully we can speed our way through the next. So we've covered 1 week of our 3-week holiday.
And 2 cheeks.
Yes. So but with logic working on our side, I reckon we can get 2 weeks down in 1 hour or so, or maybe an hour and a half. So next week or next episode, we're going to bring this back and share
Continue the adventure.
continue our adventures. And so hopefully you'll come back and listen to those. But if not, then screw you guys, we're going home. If you want to get hold of us, we are at Bedhoppers Suck on Twitter. And
or breakfastwine.com.
Well, I think breakfast wine is going to be one of the things we're going to be talking about, as our flapjacks, as our drop monkeys, and some
drop monkeys. You've made up a new species.
Oh yeah, drop bears, not monkeys.
Drop monkeys.
No, maybe
Jesus, no.
There's new ones that exist.
God.
Drop monkeys are even more dexterous. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some of that stuff. There's a bit more sexy time to talk about as well.
Bloody kookaburras.
Kookaburras, yeah. The mysterious waking up in the middle of the night with what I can only describe as a child being savaged
Yes.
by a fox that's honking a horn at the same time. So that'd be kookaburras then.
Yeah.
And sad crows.
I love
Which
those
won't make
crows.
any sense to you if you've never been to Australia.
But now
and
your
had the sad
trailblazed
crows.
all that are going to tune in.
They're going to tune in, definitely. Yeah, so find us at Bedhoppers UK on Twitter, bedhoppersuk at gmail.com on email, and bedhoppers at fabswingers.com. If you want to send us a friend code for Pokemon, fuck you, please don't. She's got enough friends. In fact, if you're already friends with Mrs. H, please unfriend her.
No.
You don't need any more Pokemon friends.
No true Pokemon friend will unfriend
You are
me
a right poker slut.
until we are best friend statuses, because they know we will get the XP points from.
Good grief, you just nerdgasmed all over me then. Right, well, Mrs. H, do the thing.
Oh, thanks for hopping down under.
Come on, do it properly.
I was going to say thanks for hopping down under into our beds.
That makes no sense. Do something else.
I do you.
Fucking hell. Thanks for hopping, swinging down under.
All right, okay.
Singapore to...
All right. Well, thank you for hopping into our beds.
Acceptable. So you know what's next then?
What, now a gym?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, the gym.
I've got to learn how to do a cock push-up again.
Well, how many do you need?
1.
1 is all you need.
Yeah, 1 is all you need.
I'm going to take some gym wine with me
Yeah.
in my sports bottle.
And are you going to have some car wine getting to the gym?
Yeah, definitely.
What about evening wine? Or is that just regular wine?
Well, I mean, evening wine now is... it's just like water, really.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably morning in Australia now, so...
So it's acceptable to have morning wine, yes?
Yes, it is.
Right, cool.
In the evening. Work wine may prove a slight problem, but we'll
I don't see it being a problem, really.
No, you don't think?
I'll embrace it.
I'll have my Starbucks wine now, please.